Welcome to the Portsmouth Business Chat. I'm Lisa Carver with the Portsmouth Area Chamber of Commerce. Stay tuned, and I look forward to introducing you to a couple of our community partners who are working hard for Ohio employers. Welcome back to the Portsmouth Business Chat. Again, I'm Lisa Carver with the Portsmouth Area Chamber of Commerce, and my guests today are with the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Comp. I've got Wendy Queen. Wendy is the Regional Business Consultant for the Southeast region of Ohio. She covers 11 counties. I have Rob Powell. Rob is the Loss Prevention Supervisor for the Columbus-Portsmouth territory and also the Interim Claims Director for the Portsmouth Service Office. And I'm going to start with Wendy today. Welcome, Wendy. Good to have you.
Thank you.
And as I said, you're the Regional Business Consultant for the Southeast region in Ohio, covering 11 counties. You've got a big territory. Tell us who needs workers' comp coverage.
Well, every employer in the state of Ohio that employs one or more full or part-time employees can maintain workers' comp coverage for those employees. Mm-hmm. And Ohio is a little different. We're a monopolistic state, meaning that they must purchase their workers' compensation coverage from the state versus a private insurance company.
Oh, okay. Now, I know I'm a little bit familiar with the Safety Council program. Obviously, the Chamber administers that program for the Bureau of Workers' Comp. Are there any other rebate for employers in Ohio?
Sure. BWC offers several rebate programs for employers, and those are listed on the screen here. Some examples are the Drug-Free Safety Program, the Industry-Specific Safety Program, Transitional Work Program, Safety Council, as you mentioned, the Policy Activity Rebate, which is a new program that we're offering, and Go Green and Lapse Free.
Okay. Now, how does the employer get more information on these programs?
BWC offers detailed information on each of these programs on our website, bwc.ohio.gov. And also, each employer is assigned an employer service specialist throughout the state, and they can help you get signed up for these programs. They can help you review your policy if you just have general policy questions, and they can also work with you on risk and claims management strategies to help you save some money. Okay. So if the business isn't sure who their assigned employer service specialist is, they should call our 1-800 number, 1-800-644-6292, and give them their policy number, and they can get that information.
Great. Now, obviously, our role with the Safety Council, I've been hearing a lot about the Better You, Better Ohio.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. It's a free workplace wellness program provided to employees of small employers and also certain workers who are injured on the job.
Okay. And why is the BWC offering health and wellness program?
Well, Ohio, like much of the nation, is facing major health challenges driven mostly by obesity, aging, and chronic diseases. As of 2017, Ohio's health ranking stood at 39th among 50 states. The challenges of these diseases are basically from lifestyle behaviors, and so by participating in a health and wellness program, that can address those behaviors and hopefully help people become healthier.
Get us healthier, get Ohio healthier.
Yep.
Now, who can participate in these programs?
Any employee of a company that has 50 or fewer workers and who currently doesn't have a wellness program in one of the following industries that are listed there on the screen: agriculture, automotive repair and service, construction, firefighters, healthcare, manufacturing, police and public safety, public employers, restaurant and food service, transportation and trucking, trash collection, wholesale and retail. And then also certain workers who are injured on the job that have other health risks such as obesity, high blood pressure, those types of things may be invited to participate as well.
Okay. And what's the benefit to the worker, to the Ohio worker?
Well, the worker can earn financial rewards for taking steps to improve their health and wellness. They can get a $75 gift card for completing a health risk assessment and a biometric screening.
Oh, gosh. And what do they have to do to participate in this?
Well, BWC is partnered with Active Health to provide these services, and the first step is they would need to visit the Active Health website, which there's a link on our website, bwc.ohio.gov.
Okay.
They click on the Request to Enroll button and answer some basic information. Then they will receive an email back from Active Health within a couple of business days, providing them with, or confirming their eligibility, and then providing them with instructions on completing that process, like the health risk assessment, which is a basic questionnaire, and then the biometric screening, which is, measuring some basic health information. It is important to note for the employee or the worker that's participating is that their health information is kept private.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And it is not given to their employer or to BWC.
That's important, yeah. It sounds like a great program.
Yes.
And I've been hearing a lot about it. Now, how can the worker get some more information on this program?
Well, they can visit our website, bwc.ohio.gov, or they can call Rob Powell or myself. Our numbers are there on the screen, and we'd be happy to answer your questions.
And what about if the employer is interested in implementing a wellness program for their employees, but they're not eligible for this program? What can they do?
Well, BWC also offers a wellness grant.
Oh, okay.
So they can, participating employers can receive up to $300 per participating employee over a 4-year period, up to a maximum of $15,000.
Okay.
So for any of the information that I talked about or this wellness grant, all that information can be found on our website at bwc.ohio.gov.
Great. Now I'm going to go to Rob. Welcome, Rob. Rob is the BWC Loss Prevention Supervisor for the Columbus-Portsmouth territory, and he's also the Interim Claims Director for the Portsmouth Service Office. Good to have you, Rob. And we've heard about certain safety services and funds available from the BWC to assist employers with the development of safety and health programs. Can you tell us a little bit more about those?
Sure. Lots of employers don't realize how many services are actually included as part of their premiums that they pay with the Bureau of Workers' Compensation. The safety services is one of those divisions that we have available where we have safety and health staff that are non-regulatory that can come out and help the employer identify what type of safety and health programs that they might need for their particular industry, whether it's agriculture or construction or manufacturing. And we have industrial safety consultant specialists, we have ergonomic specialists, and we have industrial hygiene specialists that are able to come out and help out with developing these particular safety programs. And the great part is that they're non-regulatory. So we're not going to take any information and share it with anybody like OSHA, for an example. It's strictly a program that's there to help. And so we're going to come in and really talk with the employers, figure out their needs, and give them a plan of action to develop those programs that they might want to have.
Great. Now, you mentioned the 3 types of safety consultation services. I wasn't aware of those. You mentioned safety, the industrial hygiene, and ergonomic specialist. What do they do, and how do we get in touch with them if an employer needs those services?
Yeah, we have, and it's really nice, depending on which program that you utilized, we have a Public Employment Risk Reduction Program. They're available for public employers, schools, city, township, state agencies. We also have OSHA on site, and they're available to help people out. Typically, employers less than 250 or greater than 250 employees. And so what they're available to do is coming out, the industrial safety consultant specialist on the construction side of things, the agriculture, the industry. They're really going to sit down and go through and identify those resources, building that action plan, identify some of the resources that we have. Like, for example, we have a library services where if somebody's wanting to learn more information about a particular hazard, they can contact them. They'll do some research. Or we might recommend one of our 70 different training classes that we have available for BWC employers, 13 different locations throughout the state of Ohio that employers can go take these classes. And again, that's part of the all free training. That's part of the premiums that we have available. Our ergonomic specialists, they're going to come in and really do an analysis of potential issues that could cause sprains and strains, push, pulling, carrying, awkward tasks that's performed inside the facility. They're going to try to go through and help develop better work postures, better processing, how to maybe move products into a facility and touch it the least amount of times for the least amount of potential hazard exposure. The industrial hygienists, they're going to come in and do a little bit more with the sampling of the air and the noise that workers are exposed to. So they come in and they'll actually do sampling in an 8-hour workday and try to identify what levels of chemicals or what levels of noise that a worker inside a facility might be exposed to. Really important with some of the new changes, like in the construction industry, silica dust, for an example. That's a new standard or an updated standard that is out there with new levels of exposure limits. And so the industrial hygienist can do that sampling. And again, all of this stuff is part of the premium that the employers are paying on a regular basis. And in the fact that we're not regulatory also, that really comes in very helpful.
Yeah, I know a lot of those things that you just went over, we utilize those with our Southern Ohio Safety Council. We've used the ergonomic services for different topics for our Safety Council. Then the library, the BWC library, I can't say enough about that. We have used those videos and things to assist in our presentations. Very, very valuable. Now, you mentioned one of the resources available for Ohio employers is the Safety Intervention Grant earlier. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, really excited about the Safety Intervention Grant. Probably one of those programs that a lot of employers need to learn a little bit more about. This is an opportunity for Ohio employers, no matter the industry, to improve workplace safety, to purchase equipment that's going to improve production and safety for the employees inside the facility. So this is going to eliminate injuries and illnesses associated with a particular task or operation. With the Safety Intervention Grant, it's available to private and public employers. It's a 3-to-1 matching grant. And you can get up to $40,000. And so essentially for every $4 of the cost of a piece of equipment, we'll pay for $3 of that, and the employer pays for $1 of it. The purpose, again, is it's a learning grant. So what we want to do is try to implement a process with the equipment, do a study. So we ask for, and we'll talk a little bit here about what employers' requirements are with the Safety Intervention Grant. But the idea is we post all of our different results out there so other employers can look at their industry and say, oh, well, here's particular equipment that was implemented. This is how it affected the employer, how it reduced injury history or rates inside the facility. So it's a really great program. And what's great, even more so, is
that you don't have to pay any of the funds back that is provided to you in the grant.
And I know a lot of our members, a lot of the chamber members, our safety council members, have taken advantage of that safety intervention grant. Can you give us some examples of some of the different types of different ways they've implemented the grant, some equipment that they've purchased and things?
Sure. Yeah. Some examples would be like a scissor lift.
Okay.
You have a construction employer or a maintenance person inside a manufacturing area that's constantly climbing up and down ladders. Going up to the top, working in a high elevated area exposed to a fall hazard, coming back down off that ladder, having to move the ladder over to the next location, repeat the process, where sometimes if we can implement the purchase of a scissor lift, then this process can be completed without the up and down and the exposure because they're inside the guardrails.
That must be what we have on the screen there. Is that a scissor lift? Okay.
That's a scissor lift and on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side is a personnel lift. It's an individual lift. And basically, that'll make, we use that sometimes inside schools for changing lights inside gymnasiums, for an example, as well. And one of the other items that we use in construction also would be like a grout delivery system. And we have a picture of that on one of the slides here to show you. But that's going to help eliminate some of the constant movement of construction employers inside the mason industry having to actually do all the heavy lifting of the grout. And it's a simple process where the product can be delivered with a rough terrain forklift, for an example. Really,
I know people that have done that kind of work, and I understand it's pretty hard work. Any piece of equipment that can make it safer and easier, great.
Yeah, a couple of the other industries that we utilize, reducing some of the repetitive motion injuries. For example, we've gone in and put in robots inside facilities, and while we don't want to reduce any of the jobs,
got to be careful there.
In this particular case, one example that I worked on, a company builds boxes, and they had a template set up. They brought the robot in and actually was able to do a lot of the automatic nailing to kind of reduce that
repetitive motion.
And the agricultural industry, they have we did a grant for a boar bot, and this helped move some of the livestock that's inside the agricultural industry.
Yeah. Now, it sounds like a great program, and like I say, I know some of our employers that have utilized it. And what are some of the eligibility requirements? If you could just kind of touch on those a little bit.
Sure. For the most part, being a state fund, private employer, or public employer in a taxing district, and then also maintaining active coverage, not having any lapse greater than 40 days over the prior 12 months, being current on all monies owed to the Bureau of Workers' Compensation, and typically for one of the biggest requirements that we look at is making sure that they've actually had a policy for greater than 2 years. So we do look at some of the other aspects of an employer. We try to identify, are these employers paying more than just the minimum $120 a year coverage, obviously, to get $40,000 for a grant. And we are not able to offer the grant for self-insured employers or state agencies, and unfortunately state universities at this point. We're really trying to focus in with the employers inside of Ohio that are business related on some of the creation of the jobs in Ohio too.
Now, what does an employer do if they are eligible? If they feel like they've met those eligibility requirements, how do they apply?
The very first step is to contact us. Let me identify what type of grant you're thinking about, and let me get one of my industrial safety consultant specialists, ergonomist, or a industrial hygienist to come out and sit down with you. You can call our 1-800 number or go to the BWC website and get in touch with us, and we will send that person out to sit down with you and go over all of the expectations of that grant, how to apply for it, all of the requirements in detail, and also to make sure that you're eligible before you start putting any any type of work inside this
Exactly.
at all.
Yeah, well, that sounds like I say it's a great program, and I do know some businesses that have utilized it. Are there any other grant funds available?
Yeah, we're really excited to talk about a few of these other grants here and just kind of give you a quick synopsis of those. The first is for firefighters. This is a grant where there's $15,000 available for firefighters with less than $500,000 in payroll. There's no matching requirement. In those firefighting departments with greater than $500,000 in payroll, they have a 5-to-1 matching grant. And that's to really target in on diesel exhaust systems, washing extractor equipment for turnout gears, hoods with barrier protection, and washable gloves for their department.
Oh, and let's see. Now the other grant is the employer working with persons with developmental disabilities. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that one
too. That people are working with inside the educational schools and so forth that are working with people with developmental disabilities. They're eligible for a $20,000 grant, and some of the equipment, it's a 5-to-1 matching grant ratio where these groups can get ceiling lifts, floor-based ceiling lift devices, bathing and toiletry chairs, high-low tables, and also can assist with some of the nonviolent de-escalation or trauma training or certification that's really important inside some of these locations. And then also to purchase some equipment for multi-sensory environmental equipment inside some of the rooms that they have for the people too.
Yeah, and again, like I say, another great program, and I'd love to see some of our employers take advantage of those programs. Wendy, did you have any final thoughts for us?
Well, I did want to say that BWC has a safety campaign going on right now that is focused on preventing slips, trips, falls, overexertions, and driving-related accidents in Ohio. These accidents make up about 60% of all serious BWC claims each year.
Oh, wow.
And is also a major driver of injuries at home. So check out BeSafeOhio.com. That is a website that we have that focuses and gives you some tips on being safe at work and at home.
Got that up on the screen for our viewers.
Yes.
And that just about wraps it up for our Portsmouth Business Chat today. Thank you, Rob.
Sure.
Thank you, Wendy, for
You're
joining
welcome.
us today. And tune in next month. And also, some of the Chamber's programming that's going to continue for 2018 is our Healthy Exchange. We are going quarterly with this, and this is sponsored, this is the Southern Ohio Medical Center, puts this on for us, sponsored in part by Community Action. That's where the building's at. And like I say, we're going quarterly with these, and we have an amazing group of health professionals inside the county. And what they do is they bring a different specialty in, all types of different topics. I believe, we cover diabetes, breast cancer awareness, different types of screenings that are available to the community. And it is, like I say, to spread that health awareness, the screenings that are available and everything. Those are free also, free and open to the public. We have those there at the Welcome Center. And like I say, great group to work with, Southern Ohio Medical Center. They're always good to support the Chamber and bring great programming like this to our community.
Well, I know that the initiative is that if companies also foster health for their
Absolutely.
good health practices for their employees, that that they won't suffer if an employee gets sick.
Exactly. Yes, and actually, the BWC, we work very closely with the Bureau of Workers' Comp. And since you brought that up, we work very closely with the Bureau of Workers' Comp, and they are getting ready to unveil a brand new health component that they are rolling out, and aimed at keeping employees not just safe but health and well too. So I'll probably be able to talk more about that next month. And like I say, we're having a meeting on that, so I'll have
very
more
good.
information. But always, like I say, great to work with the Bureau of Workers' Comp, and we work very closely with them for the Safety Council program. And our Safety Council program, we meet once a month there at the Welcome Center. We have a different safety topic each month. And like I say, the goal at the end of the day is get the employees home safe to their families.
Yep.
And
right.
and there's actually incentives tied to that. Where if you meet certain requirements, you make all your meetings, you can get a rebate on your unemployment, on your on your workers' comp. And so like I say, always great to work with these different organizations, and that's a lot of what the chamber does. Work with various other nonprofits, other businesses in the community, to enhance business opportunities for everyone in the community.
Yeah, many times people think that the Chamber of Commerce is there to promote just businesses, when in reality, the best way is to get everyone involved.
Exactly. And, we always say with the Chamber, networking is the name of the game.
Yes.
And all of these programs that we bring, that's our goal,
Yep.
is to allow people to network, give them that atmosphere to network and exchange ideas and help their businesses grow, and like I say, personal growth.
Sure.
It's,
Sure.
that's our goal.
Yeah.
And speaking of the networking, one of the ways we do that is our monthly business after hours.
Oh, yes.
And
Very
I know
successful program.
it is. We talk a lot about this every month, but it gives a lot of great exposure to a lot of different businesses that host these. We had an awesome one in January 18th at the Southern Ohio Museum and Cultural Center there in Portsmouth. It was co-sponsored by OSCO. Great turnout. It was a cold night, probably. It was freezing. We were absolutely freezing, and but I believe we had about 75 people turn out.
Fantastic.
And great time. And coming up in February, PNC Bank is going to sponsor one, February 15th.
Very good.
Again, it's a great way to network with a group of business and professional people, and it's a chance for our members to spotlight their business, get people in there and kind of show them what they do, and always a fun time. And like I say, that's I can't say enough about networking in a time where we're all in love with our social media and everything. Nothing is ever going to take the place of that face-to-face contact.
That is very, very
And,
true. Very true.
Like I say, so we.
One thing that you also are very involved with is the universities that surround, like for instance, Shawnee State University, right there in Portsmouth.
Yes.
You also are involved with Southern State University, Ohio University, Ohio State University, and oftentimes individuals that are professors or administration recognize the need for good community activities.
Yes, and like I say, that's our goal in the community. Like we started the program out with talking about the chamber needs to be and is, and that's one of our main goals, is to be that positive force in the community. And like I say, as we're going forward this year. With our strategic planning, that is always in the forefront, is that positive force. And the chamber has a huge birthday coming up in 2020. Going to celebrate 100 years as a chamber, and we're thrilled and gearing up. Going to be a big year for us, and like I say, going to have some big unroll some big things for the chamber.
Well, I know that my involvement with the chamber over the years. You've just been one continual positive aspect in a community that has a lot of great people, great talent, companies, things of that nature. So I'm glad that you're at the forefront, and it sounds like you really have more things planned.
Well, like I say, we have a full calendar, a full year planned, and looking forward to a good year.
Well, great. We're going to wrap this up. I want to thank behind the scenes Dwayne Rigsby. Dwayne Rigsby is our technical genius, our magician, who makes us look good. We also have Sarah, and we have Mike Thompson, also with our OSU RIO programs. I'm Patrick Dangle, and Lisa Carver, Executive Director, and we want to give a shout out to Kim Bauer, who will be with us next month. Thank you for listening.